Hello and welcome to episode 20 of From A to Global Z. I'm your host, Dr. Bill Lord. For episode 19, I reviewed three ambitious projects we're actively working on, which will be launched during this calendar year. I also notably did not shoot the episode with video that displayed my handsome Brad Pitt-like features. For this episode, for better or worse, my mug is back, and I'm going to delve into the contentious debate regarding the use of webcams and what has become a daily ritual of communicating virtually in school and work via Microsoft Teams, Zoom, or Google Meet in our pandemic-laden environment. But before we dive in, it's Mic Talk time. Today I'm featuring a robust cardioid dynamic broadcast style mic, the Electro-Voice RE320. The 320 is considered to be the versatile little brother of the classic Electro-Voice RE20, which is a broadcast and radio station industry standard used widely around the world. While the RE320 is designed to be a more affordable option to its big brother, the build quality is equally tough. In fact, if you misplace your hammer and need to drive some nails, simply grab one of these beauties and carry on. Just kidding, really. Don't do that. From a usability perspective, it is quite versatile and well suited to recording voice, horns, guitar amps, bass amps, and kick drums. The 320 actually has what Electro-Voice calls a kick drum EQ switch, designed to deliver a punchy kick drum sound often sought after on recordings. The mic ships with a padded foam zipper case and a basic mic mount. The usual selling price is around $300 USD, but I happened to snag the mic for about $250 on sale. And while I picked up this mic specifically for broadcast voice type projects, it is not a one-trick pony. I find this chunky and versatile mic to be well worth considering as part of your mic locker. See what you think. Now, on with our show. Webcams. Some people love them, some people hate them. But when COVID-19 made its unwanted global debut, if you didn't already own one, demand shot through the roof. With the world placed in lockdown overnight, everyone was using webcams. They're used for communicating with friends, family, loved ones. They're used for virtual schooling. They're used for conducting interviews and online collaborations. They were used while teleworking from home. And essentially, if you needed to be connected, you had to have a webcam. Surprisingly, this immediate need and desire to communicate virtually brought to the surface some unforeseen complications. First of all, not everyone loves webcams. Now, don't get me wrong, I've been a champion of using webcams as a way to bring people together virtually for well over a decade. The topic, in fact, is close to my heart, and it's definitely involved in the scholarly research that I do. However, there are times and circumstances where turning the camera off is not only acceptable, but should be highly encouraged. That's what we're going to take a look at today. At the time of this recording, we're still in the middle of riding the coronavirus wave. Vaccines have recently come online, but there are distribution shortages, and only people deemed to be high priority are able to get the vaccine, which, in my opinion, that's the way it should be. Schools are just now offering hybrid solutions. K-12 students can stay at home for virtual learning, or they can go to school several days per week. Now, many universities are operating in a similar fashion. In fact, my wife is in grad school, and her university is applying an option model where you can live and learn on campus, or you can live at home at your choice and participate virtually. And many of us with 9-to-5 jobs are allowed to work from home. I consider myself fortunate to be one of those who have the teleworking option. Actually, it's mandated where I work. And as part of my work, I use a webcam. Now, there are some schools that require their students to turn on their webcams. However, for others, students are given the option. Many teachers and professors are going bonkers because a big chunk of their students are opting to leave their webcams off. This makes complete sense. In other words, going bonkers, that is, for several reasons. First, many educators actually like their students and want to see their shining, happy faces, if for no other reason than it provides a sense of social presence. After all, human beings are social creatures. We like to be around and see each other. Instead, some students, a great many, are opting to turn their cameras off, and as a result, educators are teaching to tiny little black windows with no faces in them. And this is far from socially rewarding. Also, there are a number of other reasons why the use of webcams is a good thing. Being able to see others lets us know the other person or persons are paying attention. At the very least, it confirms they are there in front of the camera and have not run down the hall to play Nintendo or ran outside to kick around a soccer ball. Importantly, when we see others, we can pick up on their nonverbal communication cues. We can see their facial expressions and body language. And using visual cues, we can determine whether they hear and understand the message we are trying to convey. For folks with hearing disabilities, it is crucial they have access to visual cues. Being able to read lips and read body language assists them in receiving important information. Now let's take this a step further. When we communicate with people who are not native language speakers, they benefit from having access to a range of communication cues. Again, seeing us and our mouth movements assists non-native speakers in understanding what is being said. And conversely, when a native speaker can see the face of a non-native speaker, it may give us the clues we need to see if the recipient of our message understands what we are saying. These are just a handful of reasons why it's beneficial to use webcams in online communication sessions. So what's the big deal? Shouldn't we use them all the time? Absolutely not. There are a number of reasons kids and adults prefer to turn off. Now, back in the olden days, most people, when we all physically went to work, put on their best face. After all, everybody wants to look good. To be fair, many of you still do go to work and still put on your best face. But for teleworkers, concerns for personal appearances have kind of morphed. You might sit around all day in your PJs, and without regular access to salons, many heads have gotten a little scragglier than they used to be. Hair has grown longer, and scruffy beards are now the norm. Perhaps not getting out to the gym has also resulted in us putting on a few unwanted pounds, and these are all reasons we might be reluctant to be seen by others, as we're not at our office best. Or perhaps we're just having a bad hair day, and we're just too darn lazy to do anything about it. Some people just don't like to be on camera. They just don't like the way they look on camera, period. And while these reasons may seem superficial, there are deeper psychological issues at play. People during COVID have been left feeling isolated and depressed. This can lead to them wanting to remain unseen. They just don't want to deal with people. Others are deeply uncomfortable being on camera in a virtual room because they can't tell if someone is staring at their face and every movement without their knowledge. It's like standing in the middle of a dark stage with the spotlight on them without being able to tell if everyone in the audience is fixated on them. It's just a very uncomfortable feeling. Others have public speaking anxieties. Similarly, by having their webcam turned on when they speak, all the attention gets focused solely on that person, making them feel uncomfortable, vulnerable, stressed, and nervous. There are other gender-related issues, age-related reasons, culture-related reasons, and even religious reasons for why the use of webcams can be a very real problem. For instance, I know of a case where a university based in the US was conducting an online graduate level course attended by people from more than a dozen different countries around the globe. For one assignment, a Muslim man from Morocco was asked to communicate with a Muslim woman from Sri Lanka via webcam. The man confided he was concerned about having to use a webcam to speak with a woman he hardly knew. Interestingly, the woman confided she too was concerned about talking with this man with a webcam. The man explained that according to his faith, before he could use a webcam with her, they first needed to discuss the true intent and reason for using the webcam and agree it was strictly to be used in support of the educational exercise. It must be perfectly clear the webcam was not being used for romantic purposes. Once the ground rules were agreed upon, the use of webcams between them for educational purposes was a success. In summary, while there are a number of benefits to using a webcam during computer-mediated communications, there are an equal number of reasons where not using a webcam is perfectly acceptable or even preferred. The recommended course of action here is to consider the needs of who you are communicating with, then strike an agreement as to what methods the team should use to communicate. For a more scholarly deep dive on this topic, please search for my peer-reviewed paper titled Designing for Social Connectivity, Not Everyone Likes Webcams. It is scheduled for online publication by eLearn Magazine in March of 2021. That wraps up another episode of From A to Global Z. I hope you found value in the information provided, and I hope you join us to see what we're up to in episode 21. Until next time, please stay healthy, practice social distancing, wear your face covering, and be excellent to each other. Wishing you peace through music, I'm Bill Lord.